Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regularly scheduled commission meeting. The time is now 7:13. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Bass.
Here.
Commissioner Irvin. Vice Mayor Kelly.
Present.
Commissioner Santiago.
Here.
Mayor Taylor.
Here. As we stand by invocation led by Dr. Bass.
Almighty and everlasting Father God, we come before you today, oh God, with grateful hearts. We thank you, God, for the opportunity, oh God, to be servants of the Most High. God, we pray for every department head in the city of Opa-locka. Father God, we pray for our residents, we pray for our business owners, and for each and every one. We give you honor and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Madam Clerk, do we have any awards, proclamations, or acknowledgements at this time?
No, Mr. Mayor, we do not.
All right, we're going on to the approval of the consent agenda. Do we have any pulls, deferrals, or deletions? I will start. I do want to pull item 13.1 from the consent agenda. Any other pulls, deletions, or deferrals on tonight? All right. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Dr. Bass, second by Vice Mayor Kelly. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Irvin.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we're going on to the approval of tonight's agenda. Can I get a motion? Move it. Moved by Vice Mayor,
Second.
second by Commissioner Santiago. Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, we're going on to the approval of minutes from the regular commission meeting minutes, January 8th, 2025. Can I get a motion?
Move it. Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Kelly, second by Dr. Bass. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Santiago.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, do we have any District 1, District 2, or state reports at this time, Madam Clerk?
No, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. I see no public presentations unless the manager no. Okay, so we're moving on to our citizens forum. Madam Clerk, can you please state for the record how to participate in citizens forum?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening. City of Opa-locka Commission meetings are held in person at the Opa-locka Government Center, City Commission Chambers, 780 Fisherman Street, Opa-locka, Florida. Members of the public wishing to address the commission may do so in person or virtually. Those persons wishing to participate virtually should register prior to the scheduled meeting time on the city's website at www.opalockafl.gov. When speaking before the commission, please make sure to give your full name and address for the record. There is a 3-minute time limit for public comments. Please adhere to the decorum policy, which is part of the commission meeting agenda. City commission meetings are aired through live stream at www.youtube.com/user/City of Opa-locka. And Mr. Mayor, at this time, I do not have any public virtual comments.
All right, so citizens forum is open for those in the chamber. Citizens forum is open. All right, citizens forum is closed. As we move on to our consent agenda, Madam Attorney, 13.1.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, extending the appointment period for Shemeka Lawson as interim city manager, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the City Commission.
Okay, moved by Commissioner Kelly,
Second.
second by, who's that?
Come on.
Commissioner Bass. This is my items, well, all of our items, so I'll just take the lead on it. We know that we appointed Ms. Lawson back in sometime last year. October, thank you. And we did it for 90 days, but it's about to expire, so we're not in a position, to pivot at this moment, I don't believe. So we need to extend it. And at this moment, we need to decide on a time frame that the commission can agree on.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. I had brought up as well, and I really want to put a time frame in. I know we had initially had some thought process about going out or whatever. As you mentioned, it's not the time to pivot. So I would like to recommend that we extend it a minimum of mid-August. And my reasoning for that is we're really right now getting prepared for strategic planning, audits being completed, and various projects that are underway, even through the ARPA funding that we need to make sure is taken care of. I think the interim city manager has proven that she is capable and responsive to us. And I also don't want to make it too short because we're really, all of us know, right around the corner from the budget process, which really should start in April and May. And so anything shorter than that would really kind of tie our hands as well. So I would suggest to my colleagues nothing earlier than August 1st. I would even go as to say later than that because we know our budget submission goes to the state because of our agreement August 1st. And if there are any changes or challenges, the manager's office would have to deal with that. So I really would suggest or recommend nothing earlier than September 1st. If you want to put a time limit on it before we would go out or anything going forward. That's my recommendation of an end time, nothing earlier than September the 1st. If you want to leave it more open, I have no problem, but since we wanted to put some kind of parameter on that, that is my suggestion and the reason for it. And I'll hear my colleagues out as we make a decision. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr.
All
Mayor,
right, Dr. Bass?
thank you. One of my biggest grievance with us, Mayor and Commission, is that the turnover of our city managers, it's just distasteful to me. Now that we are where we are, to have to go through the same process, tedious process, for another Lord knows how long, and then we're pivoting backwards every time we change the city manager. I would like to put forth 18 months before we start a search again. And that's because I don't want us to have to start over again. Because we've been starting over again every 2 years, every 3 years, we're starting over. I would settle for 18 months. Just to create some kind of stability in the city.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor.
I will, go ahead.
No, if
Go ahead,
you,
go
if you want to go first, go,
No, go ahead,
go
go ahead.
after you.
I'll listen.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Manager. Well, in some of the idea, I agree with my colleagues. When all the past that we have, last year when the condition we determinated the manager that we have, and when we do that, everything like go back again to the starter. Okay, when the state, when everybody out there. I think that right now we are looking a good position, and that's what I'm be explaining to me when I talking to the interim manager, and I see that she handled it, any situation in the right way, and also she have experience for all this year that she be dealing with the administration of the city. My proposal is, I don't know if my college, you make a mistake, you say 18 months. 18 months is over a year. Yeah, 18 months is over the year, and I heard my other colleague, Vice Mayor Kelly, say up to September 1st. That's me. That's I think 180 or 140 days. 180 days.
Mr. Mayor. I don't know the time frame. I only suggest September 1st because that would get us through this really fiscal year and the budget process. And the other reason why I said September 1st, because we're not really sure that the interim manager may want to be in this position that long. But I have spoken to her because, I know, and again, we need to go back. The commission decided to do what they did. And so our interim managers picked up. I'm not sure she would even want to entertain 18 months, but I believe, as she indicated to us at the last meeting, she is committed to making sure the city gets through its audits and gets through the budget process. And that's the only reason why I suggested September 1st. Now, that does not preclude the commission and or the interim manager, if we agree later down the road to make it longer or to adjust it, it can be. That's why I said up to September 1st as the end time. So to Commissioner Santiago, that's why I proposed that. I don't know how many days it is, but that would allow us, as you said, to get through some of the tasks that we got to get through. And I don't think this meeting tonight is to do a question and answer on the manager whether she would, because the reality is she's got a lot of work on her plate, which she's trying to do, and she's doing a great job at it. So I think where we are now is to just get through where we are, and that's why I wouldn't agree to 18 months, because if you put me 18 months interim, that's a long time as well. So that's why I suggested.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but let me end in my concern. Okay. That's what we heard. The 18 months is a long period, and we don't even know if she love to stay. But that's a question that coming in the future, right? Not right now.
I'm
Well-
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but why not now?
Mayor,
why
Well,
not?
hold on,
Okay,
hold on. Okay, I don't want to put the manager on the spot. So
Yeah.
this is a conversation that you all want to have with her offline about whether or not she wants the position, then we can have it. And if she wants it, then she can certainly, I don't think anybody will stop her from applying for it. We all know she's doing a great job, but we should not put her on the
Thank you.
spot like that.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Manager. Thank you. Mr. Manager, Mr.
It's a, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor. I'm sorry. Okay, I don't want to be confused, but I say like my concern right now, and it is my opinion. Okay, the why. Okay, we because we can extend in that contract or so or the position that she have anytime that we come back. Okay, to the data, if it is possible. I say why we're amending that to extending to June 1st. Up to June 1st, we're gonna see how everything going, and from there, okay, we come back again and see what we need. But that's my that's my concern right now. Not the 180 day or the 18 month. Let's see how everything going. I think everything going okay, but that's a decision too for the manager. But up to June 1st, if Mike Kelly agreed, I have something that I'm gonna support.
Okay, so June 1st will be 6 months. February, March, April,
Probably,
May, June,
A 5, I think,
June, July would be 6 months.
6
right?
months.
Yeah, 6 July.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Vice Mayor said,
How are you?
you said October?
Well, I said September 1st.
September.
And
September.
again, I'm sorry, can I answer, Commissioner? I said September 1st because that gets us through all of the challenges, the audits, the strategic planning, because once you plan, you got to have something in place. And also gets the submission of our budgets to the state and a reply, because even though we submitted on the 1st, they take about 2 or 3 weeks sometimes to get back whatever. So I'm of the opinion, based on how they've done in the past, we would have a final budget blueprint by September 1st. Again, keeping in mind, as my colleague mentioned, does not preclude us at any point from coming back prior to and asking the manager or agreeing to a contract or an extension. But I don't think at this point we need to make that decision, and that's why I came with the date of September 1st. I wouldn't be in favor of June 1st because we're still in the middle of the budget process. So I will entertain at the appropriate time, Mr. Mayor, a motion to extend to at least to September 1st, which still doesn't preclude coming back prior to. And the manager, obviously, as you said, Mr. Mayor, we can have individual conversations, but I'm just going by based on her statements at the previous meeting wanting to ensure that we get from where we are and the city's moving and continues to move in a positive direction. And so that would be my motion at the appropriate time for September 1st. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Well, there is a motion on the floor. Okay, so here's my thought process. And I heard what both of you all are saying, that it doesn't preclude the commission from extending it at any time. But I do believe that there should be an overlapping period during the budget cycle if we are to get a new manager. So if she does not stay, and I know we all know what we want, but but if the manager does not stay in this position and she is to revert back to the assistant manager position, there needs to be an overlapping process, overlapping time, so that the new manager that comes in is familiar and helps to work on the budget. So their hands are in the paint with it. That's my thought process.
Mr. Mayor?
So, and I understand you saying to the end of the year. I know you said to the end of the fiscal year pretty much, but it doesn't give whoever is to come in, or whether or not we do keep Ms. Lawson, opportunity to work on the budget with Ms. Lawson. So I just think there should be an overlapping period. That's
Mr. Mayor?
where I'm at with it. Vice Mayor?
I appreciate your thoughts, and you're correct in the sense of you like to have an overlap, but the reality is the budget really should be done by the time you even get to June 1st. But I also think you don't want to handcuff the interim manager, because as you said, she may decide to stay on and there is no overlap. I don't think that's a decision that we need to make tonight. I think we need to show, as some of my colleagues have mentioned, continuity in the position so staff knows the manager's going to be here. If we decide at some point later on to do something, all of us have that ability to bring something back. If the interim manager sends us something and says, you know, I'm interested in staying, or has conversation, it doesn't preclude any of us from bringing something back. But I think it does give us stability to get through the major issues without potentially having staff, anyone else believes there's somebody else coming in. So don't worry, whatever. We need to know, and people need to know, that the manager is the manager. So I wouldn't be in favor of the overlap unless the interim manager is saying, now I definitely am only going to stay here to get through the budget or whatever. Then I could see with overlap and starting that process. But I don't think we've gotten to that point yet. I think we just need to show the stability, support the manager, and so staff knows the manager's going to be here. And I'm really speaking now from history, being an employee. If folks know there's something going to change, they tend to act differently. If they know there's stability in that position, then when the manager speaks, they know the manager is speaking. Again, the agreement that we have with the interim manager doesn't preclude, if she's not doing the job or not doing what we think, doesn't preclude you from coming back and taking any action that you may take. But I would still, at the appropriate moment, like to put on the floor for September the 1st and just continue it like that. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and you had something to say. We're good. All right. So the motion was made for September 1. Do I have a second for September 1? Second, September 1? All right, Madam,
I'm sorry, who's second?
second by Dr. Bass.
Okay. Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 to extend to September 1st, 2025.
All right, moving on to,
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Can we vote on the original resolution as amended?
Move it.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Bass? Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes.
Mayor Taylor?
yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, so we're moving on to 13-2.
Somebody-
I don't believe it was
That was
13.
passed
Oh, that
under
was
the
last. I'm
consent.
sorry. 15A1.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, providing approval of the special exception request for the operation of a place of religious worship at 3400 Northwest 135th Street, Building B, and identified by folio 08-2128-003-0340 in the BO zoning district, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, at this moment, I entertain a motion.
Move it for voting. Oh.
We can't move it for voting, but thank you. Moved by
Second.
Commissioner Santiago, second by Commissioner Irving. Madam Manager, go ahead and present, and then we'll open up for public hearing.
The intent of this item is to present the special exception request for the Church of Rock, Miami to operate at 3400 Northwest 135th Street, located in the B0 zoning district. This request was approved by the Planning and Zoning Board on November 19th, 2024, and Mr. Gay is available to entertain any questions you may have.
All right, before Mr. Gay, we're gonna open up for public hearing. Public hearing is open. Seeing none, hearing none, public hearing is closed. Any questions for Mr. Gay or the manager at this moment?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner
I'm
Kelly?
trying to get this pulled up because, okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor, oh, he's going, Mr. Manager, Madam Manager, to Mr. Gay, this is a special exception. Are there any other special exceptions in this region, this zone? Help him with the mic, his mic's not working.
Yes. Working now. Mayor and members of the commission, Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. To address your question regarding special exceptions are done in cases where you would have a use that is not normally used at a particular location. In this instance, the previous use was for a school, and the school did go through a special exception process in order for it to be able to operate at this particular location. The school has since moved from this particular location, and now we have a place of worship that wants to move in as well. It is required that places of worship go through a special exception process.
Okay, but Mr. Mayor, that didn't answer my question. My question is, are there any other special exception or exemption in that location, in that area, not the property itself? Any other special exemption properties in that area?
We did not look into the fact of having any other special exceptions. I'm not aware of any at this time.
Because I'm always concerned we give special exceptions or exemptions because it opens up the door for someone else to come in and say, you exempted them, I want exemption because what I want to put here normally does not fit. And so that's always a concern I have. The other is, I know that they're asking for it. One of the challenges that the school used to have, as a matter of fact, the city used to have, and we were over in that area, was the whole dust, the whole environment, the whole fumes coming from the adjacent properties. Now, I know they're probably aware of that, given the fact they've looked at the location, but that is a concern. Is there something in place so we don't have that coming for us at some point? Because that used to come up as well. You know, we do something about the fumes and the air quality and air pollution, et cetera. So was that addressed as well? Or is that somewhere notated?
We did inform the tenant that is moving into this particular location of those particular concerns. The operation that is next door is for an industrial use. It is properly zoned to be at that particular location. So we did let them know, as we did let the school know, that particular operation is legal, and whatever is produced from that particular location does not necessarily stay in that particular location, and it can get airborne and wander about.
I understand that. My question is because there was some possible concern from parents, even with kids, about the quality. And although exactly what you just said, I could never find anything in writing where we actually said to those tenants or to the school at that time, you know, parents need to be aware. In this case, it'll be the members of the church or whoever may be coming as a function to the church. And that's why I'm asking the question that I'm asking. Is that part of the document that they know, so we're not held liable or somebody want to come later? The city should have known, da, da, da. No, you knew that when you did this. And we're very much aware of it because we're doing a special exception and exemption for you. So to your knowledge, that's not written
No,
anywhere?
that is not something that the city produces for.
No, it's not something, we didn't have them sign off or?
No, no, we do not.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, to the attorney, do we foresee any challenges with something like that?
But as far as the parents and
Well, I'm just, no, it's not parents, because now it's going to be a church. I'm saying anybody coming there, because one of the complaints that used to happen when the school was there, parents were complaining. And the concept was the school knew when they moved there, there's an industrial, you know, business there that's going to produce fumes and or pollution and or noise for that matter. So I'm just saying, because we're doing this as an special exception, if we're going to make sure that they're aware, sign off on something, if we don't need to do, that's fine. But after it's done, it'll be too late.
well, yeah, well, that will be on them. So it's the requester's responsibility to make sure that they're aware of where it is that they're requesting and in what area, and that's not going to fall on the city.
Okay,
So
so we
that's
wouldn't
not
have any
something that
issues
we
with.
would not need to.
Okay, and I won't, I don't have a problem with the den in that case, but I would like to know all the other adjacent, Madam Manager, properties in that area that are special exemption, because that's the other concern I have with when you do these kind of things. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, any other questions to Mr. Gay or the manager at this moment? All right, Madam Clerk, we can go ahead and call the question.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes, for the church.
Commissioner Baz,
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin. Yes. Mayor Taylor.
I want to say yes for the church.
Motion passes
Praise the
5-0.
Lord.
All right, 16A1. You said you were thinking the same thing.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending Article 1, Chapter 7, Section 7-1 of the City of Opa-locka's Code of Ordinances and the City Land Development Regulations for Sections 22-79, 22-80, 22-81, and 22-82 to include provisions for limitations and restrictions on use of metal covering, metal containers for buildings and additions, if they conform in every respect with all applicable provisions of the Florida Building Code, providing for regulations, providing for penalties, providing for adoption of representations, repealing all ordinances in conflict, providing for codification, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored for the interim city manager. This was deferred from the January 8th, 2025 regular commission meeting.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Irvin,
Second.
second by Commissioner Santiago. Madam Manager, go ahead and present, and then we open up for public hearing.
Staff is seeking to adopt the Miami-Dade County and Florida Building Code Land Development Regulations to permit the use of metal coverings for buildings and additions within the city. Mr. Gabe, you can approach the podium and entertain any questions the commission may have.
1 second, Mr. Gay. This is a public hearing item, so public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. All right, any questions for Mr. Gay at this moment?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Gay? Commissioner Santiago?
Welcome again, Mr. J. The only question that I have that I forgot yesterday in the brief meeting that we have about the containers, and this is the one. Okay, this is gonna be only for commercial. We're talking about, like, in case of the emergency, they have to install in there the office for any reason.
This is basically Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. This is to allow for storage containers or shipping containers or something of the similar like to be utilized within industrial and commercial areas only.
Okay, I think that I already have my answer. It's me. They can use container for storage too, not only for office space.
For office and for storage space on a temporary basis. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, go ahead.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. I went by and saw, and it's a little building. I don't really have a problem with you said temporary basis. So is there a cap on the time frame, or does they have to come back before us so we periodically make sure what's supposed to be there? What is that specifically in writing?
For this particular type of addition, it will be reviewed on an annual basis. So every year, we will basically go to determine whether that use is still needed and be able to certify it in order to make sure it meets the Florida Building Code requirements
Okay, so basically every year.
every year.
Okay, and do we do that currently with other projects or things that we've allowed? Not, I know this is new for this, but we do that at other things. We go back on a yearly basis that we've approved that fit some kind of criteria as such.
Not at this time, no.
Okay. Could this be, could the city do this? Could the city put one of these kind of containers somewhere if this is passed?
Going through the necessary processes, yes.
The city could do this as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Gay, and then we'll, if no other questions, we'll call the question, but I do have a couple questions. I know you said this will be done on an annual basis. However, I see we're adopting the Florida Code, Section 7-1. The Florida Building Code addresses containers used as building structures for residential, commercial, industrial, and mixed uses. The challenge that I have is, so if it is used in a residential area, and let's just say till 2025, we support it, we vote, yes, we want it. 2026, the commission says we no longer want containers. Will that structure have to be then pick up and go? How does that work? Or are they grandfathered in?
Well, for this particular language, we specifically said we're only going to do it in commercial and industrial areas. This is not something that's going to be applicable within residential areas at this time.
Okay, and the only reason why I asked that, because you said we were adopting the Florida Code. That's why I wanted to get, and actually it's here pursuant to the 7th edition. I don't see what you're saying. Yeah, and you said permitted use residential, permitted use commercial, permitted use industrial, permitted use mixed use, and civic district to allow the use of, well, you know the rest of it.
While we are adopting the Florida Building Code principles, which addresses all those particular uses, we are strictly focused on the commercial and industrial use only. We're not dealing with the residential use.
But it doesn't preclude a resident from using.
If a resident wants to build a container home, they will have to go through another review process.
Mr. Mayor.
That's okay.
Because we're not addressing that at this time.
Commercial, residential.
Okay. All right,
So, Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly.
to the attorney, then I guess the question I have, and that's why I asked it early, and the mayor picked it up. As it stands now, we would be approving this, because that's what we're doing, this business to do this. But it precludes anyone else from, at this point, coming to us wanting the same thing in a residential area. Mr. Gay is saying that we're only applying it to commercial zoning areas. But what would preclude, once we pass this, from anyone else saying they want to put it in a residential?
Well, it would have to be applicable to also our zoning codes.
And our zoning code,
At this time, our zoning code does not allow containers or shipping containers to be utilized for those particular uses in residential.
okay, and that's why actually we go back and look. Because, okay, all right.
Mr.
So
Mayor.
I'm not. Commissioner Santiago, give me 1 second. Madam Attorney, I don't have an issue with the legislation as it stands. However, I do want to make a motion to remove the use of residential out of the legislation. Cause I don't even want, let's just make a motion to remove it out of the legislation and we can adopt it. We can adopt the Florida code, only part of the Florida code, which will be commercial use of industrial use mix and civic district. Madam Attorney,
That, that would be fine. I was just trying to pull it up to make sure what the language is.
it's in the, well, he provided the law on the last,
Article 1,
yeah,
Section 7(1) is the last, second to the last sentence, actually.
and then you all, and then what really made me, what sparked my attention is because you all provided a home, a duplex. Which in
that
the
was-
packet.
and
So
that
I
was the wrong
like,
picture, yeah.
And it looks nice on the inside. The interior looks nice. However, yeah,
That's why I asked, could the city do it? But at this point, I agree with you.
So I wanna-
Take the residential out.
to remove residential out of the ordinance, Madam Manager. It's on the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth whereas. And if you're looking at the state law, it's on the. Oh, it's in the first, section 7-1. Oh, no, that's the city. Oh, no, it's Florida. I'm sorry, section, I was right. So I make that motion to remove residential,
We'll work with.
to
Second,
not adopt residential. Second
Second.
by Commissioner Kelly. Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kell?
I'm sorry, before you do that, I want to modify my motion to say not residential and also to include in the language on the second reading to say that you cannot use this in residential at all. So-
Mr. Mayor,
And then Commissioner Santiago, I'm sorry.
thank you. You forgot.
I
me.
withdraw my motion.
Before,
Madam Clerk.
before you drop off the motion, okay. I've been hearing about the language that we're gonna use, but we don't ask Mr. Gay about the state law, the Dade County law, that they include in their residential areas to build. Okay, today, we're talking about in 2025, that everything is different like before. I know it's a lot of company that they are promoting that type of houses because they're more safe for hurricanes, they're more safe for fires, they're more safe for a lot of things and less expensive to build, a house, a normal house. What I want to be sure is that we not broke any rule or law or law for the state or they can when we passing that, avoiding the residential area. We have to be very careful with that. We don't want another lawsuit. Anybody want to build a house the way they want, and we not letting doing it.
Okay,
That's my concern. You want it passing, it's up to you. But
I'm not an attorney, but Madam Attorney, I do believe under home rule, we have the right to dictate our land use in the city of Opa-locka. Is that correct?
You do,
Okay.
depending.
Okay.
Mhm.
Depending. But we're
Depending.
not breaking any laws if we say we don't want container homes in the city of Opa-locka, just like if we,
You all can do that. You all can be more restrictive if you want to.
thank you. That's what I assume. So I modified my motion to remove the residential language and also add that we cannot, well, you can formulate the language that they can't build in residential areas, use containers in residential areas. Can I get a second for that motion?
Second.
Second by Dr. Bass. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly?
yes,
Commissioner Santiago?
it's okay with me.
Mayor Taylor?
Yes.
Motion on the amendment passes 5-0.
Now let's go ahead and vote on the actual, call the question to the actual ordinance itself.
Commissioner,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Commissioner Santiago?
Yes,
Commissioner Bass?
Yes.
Commissioner Irvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly?
yes. Here?
Mayor Taylor?
We did say here.
Oh.
Yes.
Motion passes first reading 5-0.
I am not here mentally.
All right, moving on to our next item, 16A2.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending ordinance 15-31 of the Land Development Regulations, Article 4, Section 22-101, Section O, related to the historic downtown Opa-locka District HDOD, to increase the maximum building heights to no higher than 105 feet and 10 stories to comply with Federal Aviation Administration Regulations, Part 77, to ensure safety and livability, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for scrivener's errors, and providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by the interim city manager.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Move in second. Moved by Commissioner Bass, second by Commissioner Santiago. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk. Madam Manager?
The city's current building height is restricted to 7 stories in the historic downtown Opa-locka district. This amendment will allow for an increase to 10 stories for the downtown area of Opa-locka. And Mr. Gay will answer any questions you may have.
All right, this is also a public hearing item, so public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. Any questions for Mr. Gay at this moment?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead. Commissioner.
I don't have a problem with it in documentation. I'm just trying to visualize. It can go up to 10 stories.
Yes, sir, 10 stories.
Doesn't mean we have to approve 10 stories.
Excuse me?
Excuse me. Yeah, I'm just asking. Do we have to approve 10 stories?
Yes.
If somebody wants 10, we would have to approve 10.
It's 10 or 105 feet, subject to FAA review.
I got the FAA review, but if someone wants to build 10, when the FAA doesn't have a problem, we couldn't say we really prefer 8 or 9.
There is some latitude, but we're looking at maximums here. So
I understand we're looking at max. I'm just saying the parameters of the commission authority to, just because it says 10, doesn't mean we have to go 10. If we feel wherever it may be in the downtown area, we don't want 10. I understand FAA says what it says. I understand 105 feet. But if for some reason this commission decided, someone came before you all and said, to the planning, so we want to do 10, and we don't necessarily have to agree with 10. We could say, yeah, you could ask commission with 10, but we think you really should do, 8.5 or 9 because of where you want to do what you want to do. And I'm saying that on the front end because a lot of times that leeway or latitude or that conversation should take place with the manager and in y'all office before it gets to us. Because a lot of times it gets to us, it's already 10. And we may not be disapproval of the project. We may not think it ought to be 10 because of whatever the language may be. So I'm putting it on the record because it is, an ordinance that we are passing, and I know it's first reading, so I want to put it on the record now, and you can go back, and I guess the manager's office can talk about that with the attorney, because that's my concern. Just because it's 10 doesn't mean it has to be 10. Doesn't mean that the commission wouldn't pass 10, but if that discussion, that y'all take a hard look, if somebody is proposing 10, given our challenges with parking, roadways, and everything else, depending on where this may be in the downtown district. And so, Madam Manager, that's kind of my concern on that conversation would have, because a lot of times those kinds of discussions should take place before it even gets to us. And too often I've seen where it doesn't happen until it gets to us, when really it's probably too late because they went through a whole lot of the season process. So I want to put that on the record up front. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner.
if I may, if I have plans to build a 10-story apartment complex and I'm not asking for a variance or something, could the city come back and tell me no? Because I'm not asking for, and I only say that because I was just recently told something. As long as I'm not asking for a variance and I'm within the city code, then I can build what I want to build as long as it's in that parameter of code. And if they say 10 and I want to do 10, I don't have to ask for special permission because your law say I can go up to 10. I'm not asking for a variance or something. I'm within my guidelines. So I'm not sure how that would factor in to what I think Kelly is saying.
To give a little further clarification, you are correct as it relates to the overall height, basically looking at 10 stories itself. There is some opportunities of within the construction industry that the assumption that a 1-story is going to be 10 feet
We talked about that.
is not necessarily the case. In some cases, a story can go down as low as 8.5, 9 feet. Usually that's done for garages or some type of storage areas within a development itself. And then on the first or second floor in some buildings, they will have a greater height where they can go up to 14 or 15 feet because they're looking at creating some type of amenity area or something special as it relates to the development itself, which may require a higher height requirement for that specific use within the building. So to make a long story short, stories have a tendency to be fluid. They can vary anywhere from 8.5 up to 14, 15 feet. In most common buildings, they pretty much are at 10 to 12 feet. So because we put the height restriction itself of 105 feet, whatever's being developed or proposed for development within that area will have to come under that height criteria overall. So the 105 feet is really the line of demarcation as it relates to the maximum height of the structure itself.
Okay,
Mr.
regardless to how many floors you have, we just can't go over the 105 feet.
Correct.
Okay.
All right, you're done, Commissioner Urban? All right, Commissioner Santiago?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Gray, yeah, Gregory Gay, yes. What we're discussing tonight here is to amending or to passing the 120 feet, the 125 feet that we need
What we're just
to comply with Commissioner Irving talking about. Okay, the 10 maximum floors, okay, that anybody want to build here in downtown, they have to be accord with the fee that we supposed to be when the airport rules. Okay, that's very easy. I mean, from there, they can build 9, they can build 8, whatever they want, up to 10, but they have to be in that 125 feet.
105.
it's actually 105.
It's 105, we don't?
Yes, sir.
I believe that we're changing it to
We
125.
we actually talked about what the FAA allowed. When I gave my presentation, the FAA will allow up to 125 feet, but within our legislation, we're only allowing up to 105.
Oh, okay. And in the 105, we can build up to 10.
Yes, sir.
Okay, no problem.
And,
Thank you.
and one more quick,
Go ahead.
and I'm be done. So bottom line, we honestly don't have permission to say you can't build 10 feet. Am I right? 10 stories.
Yes.
If that's what I said I wanted. I'm just
Mr.
curious.
Depending upon the passing of this particular ordinance, that will determine what the maximum height will be. If it's a variation of whether it could be 8 stories, 9 stories, 10 stories, it's really the 105-foot demarcation that determines the maximum height.
Mr. Mayor,
1 second, Commissioner Kelly.
I'm
Commissioner
sorry.
Urban said the floor.
Okay, so I'm going with 10 stories at 105 feet. The commission can tell me no.
I'm not sure whether the commission will actually be in a position to tell you yes or no. because it's really subject to the design of the structure
The
itself.
answer is no, the commission will not be able to tell you no, because if we do, we're gonna get sued.
Mr. Mayor,
If we
Mr.
pass
Mayor.
it, if we pass it, we pass it.
Kelly.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner, are you done?
I'm done.
Go ahead, Commissioner Kelly.
I think the clarity of the point I'm making is, it's not the 10 stories or the 105 feet. What I'm saying happens too often in discussions. When people come in, before they even get that far down the road, they're talking to staff about what could be there, what their intent is. And if staff has a clear understanding of the challenge we face in some of our areas, i.e. parking, i.e. road congestion, that will factor in to whether they may go 10 or 9, or as you indicated, what they're planning to put within those 105 feet. Because if they want to do something, as you indicated, that require more, then that may mean less in terms of, units or whatever. But again, that discussion or conversation has to take place before it gets to us. It's not about whether there's zoned for it. It's like anything else. You can be zoned for it, but if it's something that we don't feel is either compatible or is going to fit into whatever the makeup, the time to have a discussion and communication and back and forth is with that developer then in the office. That's the point I'm really making. Would you agree that's the time to have it? Not when it gets to us, it's too late then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, that's the point. It's not 10 feet or 105, yes, but it's when they have those discussions with you, staff, and the manager and officers where that needs to take place. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, no problem. We can go ahead and call the question.
Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes,
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass, Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 first reading.
All right, moving on to item 16B1, I'm sorry.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, amending the annual adopted general proprietary and special revenue funds budgets for the fiscal year commencing October 1, 2024, and ending September 30, 2025, adjusting revenues and expenditures as reflected in Exhibit A, providing for the expenditure of funds established by the budget, authorizing the city manager to take certain actions, providing for appropriation of all budgets and expenditures, providing for fees consistent with appropriations and amendment, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict and repealer, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. The first reading public hearing was held on November 13th, 2024. This is sponsored by the interim city manager and was deferred from the January 8th, 2025 regular commission meeting.
All right, can I get a motion?
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bass, second by Commissioner Irvin. This is a public, oh, I'm sorry, Madam Manager, go ahead and present.
This is the second reading of Budget Amendment Number 2 for fiscal year 2025 to align the city's expenditures and revenues, and Mr. Bob Anathan will be available to answer any questions.
All right, this is a public hearing item. Public hearing is open. Public hearing is closed. All right, any questions for Mr. Bob? I do have something. And I spoke to the manager about this already. I do have an issue because this seems to be common practice in the city of Opa-locka. When we did the first reading, we had 4 items.
Yes, sir.
Now, at second reading, we are at 57 items. And a lot of these items I brought up in my briefing because a lot of these things we said, it was an emergency and we needed to do it. And it was such an urgency. The urgency was now at the time. And now I see that money is being placed back. So I don't want us to get into the practice of at second reading, things change so drastically.
Yes, sir.
Because that's
Understood.
a big jump from
Yes, sir.
4 items to 57 items. So to me, it just doesn't look kosher. I'm gonna say it that way. And I spoke to the manager about that, and I had a lot of questions and a lot of reservation on this. So that's where I'm at with it. But I know it's a budget amendment item and we got to do it, but I'm not feeling the way we're doing things like this.
Yes, sir. Understood. We got squeezed on the first hearing. We just ran out of time to get everything that we wanted to.
Yeah, but the concern that I have, Mr. Bob, is that, well, through the manager, that we are in January. The year started in October. So October, November, December, we ain't spending that kind of money. That we got to have 57 budget amendments. went from 4 to 57. So,
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly, I'm done. Oh, yeah, I said, go ahead.
I've been saying this for the last couple of years. I'm not a fan of budget amendments the way we do them because they seem to be the catch-all. And the mayor's frustration is something that I've shared over the last year and a half, really, because these budget amendments seem to take on a life of their own. And so I've said to the new interim manager, so I guess I'll say it publicly, because I've been a director in a department. I've ran departments within Opa-locka. These departments need to tighten up and they need to get the stuff in on time so that it can get to the commission. And one is not, as the mayor said, for now, and then I'm hearing we got squeezed. That's part of departmental structure. As a director or department head, that shouldn't happen. And budget amendments, in my opinion, are for emergency, are for situations that arise beyond your control. When I look at some of these and going back over the last year and a half, they were just, in my opinion, we'll just do it in the budget amendment. We'll catch it in the budget amendment. And then we get here and the commission really doesn't have a lot of latitude because we've got to make it conform because that's the state is requiring. So going forward after this one, I would expect it to be different and have a better fluid to it. As the mayor said, if it was 4, it should be 4. If you got squeezed, I'm not going to ask for it tonight, but somebody's going to have to tell me why it got squeezed, department by department and line item by line item. Because if you're managing your budget in a department, unless it's something that comes up out of the norm, some health or safety issue or something the commission deems emergency, or Madam Manager, you would deem it, it should be able to take care of within itself in a fluid motion and not with all these finality of 4 to over 50. And so I'm saying that to you as the manager, but because I know it can be a lot tighter and smoother within the department. So when you come back the next time, and I know the mayor don't want to do it tonight, so I'm not, I'm tempted to just go through all 57 and have every department head come up and explain why it is like that, and it had to be put in the an amendment to capture those dollars to do what had to be done or needs to be done. But I won't do it for tonight. I'll support it as is, but going forward, just know that, Madam Manager. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. Do we have any questions for Mr. Bob at this moment? All right, hearing none, Madam Clerk, you can go ahead and call the question.
Vice Mayor Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Santiago,
Yes, for the different.
Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Irvin,
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, so we're moving on to the city manager's report. Madam Manager?
Good evening. I would like to inform you that the budget administrator has completed the 5-year financial recovery plan to include fiscal year 25 through 29. An agenda item will be prepared to be presented to the city commission for February. The city administration has engaged the White House Group for Professional Strategic Planning Services, which is scheduled for March 15th, 2025. The city clerk and I have discussed the viability of the city's boards and committees, and a written report will be provided to the city commission for discussion at the February 12th regular commission meeting. At the last commission meeting, concerns were raised with regards to projects that previously appeared before the commission. The site formerly known as the Thompson Car Wash is under permitting with Miami-Dade County and anticipated to be completed by March 1st. The developer have already obtained a demolition permit from the city and will proceed with demolition shortly after approval from Miami-Dade County. The property located at 1801 Alabama Avenue in the Magnolia North area is not being developed due to Miami-Dade County seeking to reestablish ownership of the property. The property located on Golf Course Drive does not have a development agreement for the site at this time. In addition, it was
Wait,
discovered
Madam Manager, what was the address you said with the county address?
1801 Alabama Avenue.
You said that the county is trying to assume ownership of it?
Yes, to take it back.
It's in the,
This,
why are they trying to revert it back?
Mr. Gay, do you have come up, please?
If you don't have an answer, you could just provide it. It doesn't, it's,
Mr. Gay has that information.
Gregory Gay, Director of Planning and Community Development. We had received notice from Miami-Dade County regarding that particular property being under a specific timeline for development. And it was determined through the District 1 office that they did not want to move forward with the opportunity for the city of Opa-locka to have the property developed by a private developer at the time. So in essence, they have begun the process of the reverter clause that was within the deed of the property in order to take the property back. And then Miami-Dade County will decide how they would see fit in order to move forward with an infill housing project for that site.
and we haven't approached the county to ask for an extension?
We did approach them and we were denied.
Mr. Manager,
Commissioner Kirby?
Mr. Mayor, can I, on the same point, when did we ask for the extension?
It's been, we initially asked for an extension, I want to say June or July of 2024. When we first got notification that they wanted to institute the reverter clause. We were confirmed as to not getting the extension in, I want to say either September or October. I'll have to go back and forth through my records.
Okay, thank you for letting me.
Okay, then my other question is, Madam Manager, are there any other, because I know that the county gave us properties within that area, the Manoli, well, the Triangle area, for infill housing programs. Are there any other properties in that area that are currently in the city's name from the county?
No,
That was the last one.
yes.
And have we even approached them to see if we can do maybe a P3?
I don't think staff I don't think staff
Oh, you don't
approached
think
them.
it's worth
We
it?
didn't have any discussions regarding public-private partnership, no.
All right, okay, well, continue on, Madam Clerk, Madam Manager.
The property located on Golf Course Drive does not have a development agreement for the site at this time. In addition, it has been discovered that the deed prepared does not include a reverter clause. The developer for the site identified for mechanical parking has not responded to any communication from Planning and Zoning Department. I have requested that staff continue their efforts to get information on future development for that site. The property located at 2016 Washington Avenue has received approval for demolition from Miami-Dade County. However, the funding was not included in this current budget. Staff will be meeting with the Finance Department to include funding for this demolition project to proceed. I did provide a report to you in writing, in addition to an update on the Miami Opa-locka Airport and an update on the 99 findings. And I will answer any questions you may have at this time.
All right, any questions to the manager at this time,
I do.
Madam Irvin?
I have a question, and it's only because I live probably a half mile or less from the airport. People that live on Golf Course Drive has to be out of their minds when it comes to this drag strip that we have at the Miami Opa-locka Airport. Now, I know that I did read what you put in the report. I know that we can't tell them what to do with their property, but they should be considered enough to not start racing those cars at 9 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday mornings. So I don't know if we could reach out and ask them or suggest to them that, especially on the weekends, if they can be so courteous to maybe not start driving cars before noon, because it's ridiculous. I was ready to go over there over the weekend. Ridiculous. And we're hearing it for hours, hours, and hours at a time. Like, if they would just give us until 12 o'clock on the weekends would be nice before they start racing cars. Sick of it.
Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Irving, you finished?
No, I just want to piggyback on that
Oh.
point, and then she can finish. I read what you had too. The question I have is, when did we request for the permits to be pulled? I know I said it says we were told that the county had jurisdiction. When were we told? When did we ask for them to pull permits and we're told it's all hours, you can't do anything?
That was before Amazon was built, and their response was sent to the city in February of 2017.
Okay, so when Amazon, not necessarily Amazon, but when the race part
Yes.
was decided, when was that done? That's what I'm talking about, the race part, because even, I'm not talking about Amazon, the building, I'm talking about the racing part. When did we ask about that? Or
No,
when did, we didn't ask about it?
from my understanding, no one from the city asked anything about the
So we
race
knew-
before it was built.
We've known all this time that racing could go there?
I would have.
I
to
know you
call-
weren't the manager.
Yeah,
I know you weren't the manager, but somebody on staff. I'd like to see that back and forth because I'm pretty sure at some point we had to know that the racing was going to go there, not Amazon building,
mhm.
but the racing. As the Commissioner Urban says, if it's going to be racing, did we inquire to say, even though y'all got jurisdiction, what kind of noise barriers?
Right.
What's the hours operation? What's the whatever? And this is not new because we brought it up. I think last year we brought it up and we're supposed to be having a meeting and it never went anywhere until we brought it up again. I appreciate your report, but I'd like to know that because anywhere else.
I did speak to staff before providing that report, and staff response is no one from the city reached out to them with regards to that racing. No one.
So even though we brought it up prior to, nobody even went back to
No.
now to even have a,
Correct.
what was that word you used, Mr. Mayor, earlier? Culture? Use that word culture? Okay, that culture has to change. We don't sit up and ask and want information for nothing. And I'm saying that because if we had even inquired and to know that they were doing or racing, not that we can change the track, but as Commissioner Irvin says, we could say to them, or even go to a county meeting, if you're going to do this, can you be more considerate? Can we at least know? Can you, now to construct it, put some more barriers up that can help with the sound? And I still want to pursue that. Still want to pursue that because as it stands now, we're getting all of the headaches, and it's not even weekends. Sometimes it's during the week. I've heard on Wednesday morning, and it's like that. So I want to ask you to go back and just find out if there's anything they could do to make that more amenable. We're not asking to tear it down. We understand the county has jurisdiction, but there is something about just being good neighbors. And then we need to do a better job in asking the question and bring it back to the commission. We got to go down before the county and make that request. Then we can do that. It's just like anything else where you have the noise barriers for the railway in certain areas. You see it, certain areas you don't. We can do that. There has to be something that we're not living with this for the next 100 years and you just run that noise whenever. Even the speed thing out at Miami Gardens, they tell you when it's coming. So you can expect it's going to be loud the next 4 days, 5 days, 2 weeks. We just sleeping, all of a sudden hear it. And those folks go back to wherever they live in their quiet comfort, and we're up the rest of the day and night. So I'm asking to have that discussion, that conversation about what they can do to mitigate the noise and or timeframes and or build something more since they're going to be there. Just on that issue. Thank you for letting me put
No
that in there.
Because,
Mr. Mayor.
Madam,
1 second.
Madam Manager, they start doing as early as 9 o'clock. And sometimes it's day after day after day. The only reason we didn't hear it today because it was wet and rainy. They wake me up. They're my alarm clock because by 9:15, you hear. Sometimes they can't even drive them stick shifts because you can hear it all, and it really gets to be annoying.
So I will be drafting a letter, and I'll work with our city attorney's office.
If they can just adjust the hours, if we don't have a choice but to deal with them, adjust the hours. Thank you.
Noted.
Commissioner Santiago?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Madam Manager, let me say that, and I'm gonna be very short with this. That's gonna be an order, okay, from my side, like a commissioner that I am. I need some respect for the great people or the resident of Opa-locka from Dade County government. Even we don't have no jurisdiction there to let them know then what to do, we're gonna force them to doing it because we have people there, live there, people, children, sick people, every kind of persons. And I believe that they deserve some kind of respect. I know that they be playing game with us because they don't have no respect for our city. But I give you an order to find a way, and even the city attorney too, found a way to have something legal to make Opa-locka, okay, be respect in that area when that noise. Because it's not only in a vice mayor home or commissioner, in my house, I can hear that noise all morning in Perry. I live in 1156 Perry. Perry or Perry? But it's far away from there, and then I can hear the noise. And this time, that's an order. Let's find a solution right away for that. And when Vice Mayor Kelly, we had to go, we're going to go down there. And we're going to defend the city. And another thing for you, Madam Manager, that we are still working in the beautification of the city, clean the street and everything. Oh yeah, I have a complaint this morning, but I'm gonna try to go with you out there because I want you heard from them.
Okay.
Okay. They don't see any more down there, the sweeper or the people, cleaning that. And we have a lot of problem with that metal place out there.
Okay.
A lot of problems.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know which one you're talking about.
And remember, that's an order. Let's go to Dade County and fight him. Thank you.
Madam Manager, before we go on to the next portion of our meeting,
You're
mhm,
still in the manager, right?
we're still on the manager. You got
Okay.
something?
Yeah, I had something for the manager. I was just waiting my turn.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do appreciate the reports, and the information, Madam Manager. A couple of them I've got the challenges with. I see the properties on 22nd, west and east, that's overgrown. I see that we've got running fines. One question is, how long do we do them running fines so we take the next step? And that might be a legal question. So, Madam Attorney, you can get that to me if it's a legal question, as opposed to one that the manager can answer, because the running fines should go for a period of time before we take a next step. Because for me, the property is still just overgrown, very high. There's no indication to try to comply. So even if we're cleaning up the city and other areas, that seems to get ignored. And so you have people complaining about some of the whatever is coming out of there going into the residential property. So how long does running fines before we take that next step? And I know there was a time we had this thing about what do you call it, amnesty, and you come in and we kind of didn't do anything. To me, they don't fit that criteria. But I'd like to know how long running fines occur and what it is on these properties, because it's been going on a long time. And even though they received a notice for failing to comply, the grass still high on both sides. It's an eyesore right on 22nd Avenue. So we need to deal with that. So you can get me those answers to that. And is that amnesty program still in effect?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so, yeah, I don't know if they would qualify, but, okay, I'll get with you on that amnesty thing. That's a different conversation. The other thing is, PSAs, and I see your report. 12 applicants, I'm not gonna get into specifics. What it says here is some didn't meet whatever with issues, and as the day, candidate selected. Okay, I would try to be as nice as I can, because I know you just became the interim manager. To me, this does not suffice. we've been talking about PSAs for 2 years almost. Matter of fact, I was told, we had two, then we had one. I even saw the car striped out PSA. I think I saw the person in it one time or a couple of times. Haven't seen any more. Haven't seen it anymore. All of this time with no PSA. Is the one that I saw maybe, I want to say 6 months ago, 5 months ago, is that person still a PSA out? Because I don't see them on the street. So unless you're telling me they're out there a certain time, I don't see them out there. But those positions were budgeted for PSAs.
Correct.
So where's that money that was budgeted for PSAs? I have an idea, but I wait on you to tell me. And the one or two that we did say we had, are they still functioning?
The positions are still budgeted. At one point, there were two PSAs a while back, several months back. One of those PSAs was transferred to another position. So at this time, it's only one PSA.
So the PSA was transferred out of PSA to somewhere else,
Yes,
but they were hired for PSA?
correct.
Okay, Madam Attorney, don't let me get in trouble. I guess that was an administrative decision?
It was done by the previous management, but it was, yes. it
Administrative
was.
decision?
Yes,
Okay, so we only have one.
yes, at this time.
And where's that one at? Because I don't see him on the street.
I'll get you a schedule of that one. I have seen that one, but I saw that one in the building. So I will get you a schedule.
So the one that got transferred, the money for PSA is still in the budget.
Yes,
So there's money in the budget as it stands right now for 3 PSAs because you got one that's
currently in the position.
currently in the budget that's functioning.
Yes.
And that PSA is out on the streets.
I'll get the schedule to see when that PSA is in the office and out on the street because there's only one. And that person is helping out with the red light camera as well.
I thought we stopped that. That came up in a meeting a couple months ago, and
You did. But my latest update, that was the response.
I remember that
Yes.
coming up in a commission meeting that they were doing that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my colleague just mentioned something, and I agree with him. He said that the county needs to respect us. And I agree with that. But let me take it one step further. I think staff needs to respect the commission. If there's a PSA that's supposed to be a PSA, they should be on the street, not doing something else when they're budgeted and being paid for PSA. They should be on the street, not doing red light camera or something else. And that's what they're being paid for.
You're right, and I agree. I'll make sure our acting chief make sure that one individual is out on the street being a PSA and no longer in the office. I hear your concerns, and I'll make sure that.
Well, I appreciate you hear our concerns, but again, I'm going back to my hat when I was a director. Staff hears the concerns too. And this is not new. We're paying for PSAs to be out there to help our police officers. And the reason I'm thinking about it just with the noise,
Mhm.
music, things like that, that are not something that, you know, officer would really have to stop and deal with. Tractor trailers and vehicles that are parked out there that shouldn't be in the area that would slow up police officers. Those kind of things they could be doing. And we budgeted for it. They should be out there. We striped the vehicle for it. I remember seeing it right there in the front. Okay. I know it predates you, but the staff ain't changed. So I think going forward, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on this process because it doesn't make any sense to me why we're saying and budgeting and then it's not occurring. And you know, that's not good. We're saying to citizens, yes, we budgeted for 4 PSAs and we don't see any of them, but one is here, but they're helping out red light cameras. Why are they helping out red light cameras? That should be a function of someone else because we get funding and we get money for red light cameras. They should be getting paid out of that. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. The other things I will meet with you, but I think you hear my concerns. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, no problem. Madam Manager, the only thing I have for you is, once we get ready to do the strategic planning session on 3/15, I would like that you make sure that the commission has a copy of the downtown master plan so that we can discuss that at that time. Also, I got some complaints from residents that said that the non-emergency number, nobody answers the phone. And it just rings and rings and rings and rings and rings. So is it possible that we can make sure that that number is alive and that there's somebody on the other side answering the phones?
Yes.
Outside of that, I'm good. Any other questions to the manager? All right. The official board reports, I don't see any board here, so we can move on to the mayor and commission report. We'll start this way.
Me? Okay.
No, Commissioner Badge, yeah,
Badge?
no report.
No report?
Commissioner Santiago.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that I have two requests, and gonna try to express myself what I really love to have back. I believe that I'm talking to the manager, and the manager give me some idea how to doing it. I remember that I bring 4th of July in 2013, and I used to be the main sponsor in that. And I like or love to ask in my colleagues and Park and Recreation to see if I can have that event back to be the mayor, the principal sponsor.
Okay,
I don't know how we can do it
are
back.
both of your ideas about events?
I'm
Are
sorry,
both of your ideas about the events?
I still not understand the question.
Both of your ideas, you have two things to talk about. One is
Oh yeah.
about
Oh,
the
okay. The
also-
second one you're talking about.
Mhm.
Well, that's the first. Oh, that I let me keep that one for that first. Okay. I love to have back my 4th of July event because I want to start it if it is possible the early weekend.
Got it. The reason why I asked that, because we're gonna discuss special events under my report.
Oh.
So I'll bring it up then.
Okay. Well, for my
Okay.
report, that's the only thing that I want to.
You said you had one more.
No, let me
That's it?
left that the other one for the next commissioner meeting like that we finish. So
Okay.
thank you.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to thank the clerk, the manager and staff of all of the departments, along with my colleagues, residents, organizations, and all who supported our annual Dr. MLK Walk this past Saturday. We also are excited to have Ms. Jo Marie Payton with us as well. We know we were under tight constraints because of the homegoing of Vice Mayor Holmes, but I want to thank everyone for their support as we continue with our 42nd annual Dr. MLK Walk. So I want to thank my colleagues for all your support and staff as well. And as Ms. Jo Marie Payton said, it would be real great if we can get even more young people involved to remember the dream, the struggle, the legacy, and build on that even more. Certainly want to thank those entities and organizations, 5,000 role models and others who were there. The Memorial Garden that's right there at Shabandi Village that'll be maintained. Very supportive and appreciative of that. We're working, of course, inviting all of our citizens who would like to our upcoming fishing outing to Pahokee next Thursday morning, leaving at 8:30. The deadline, I believe, is this Friday to RSVP. So if you're interested in going, please do that as well. We're working on our faith-based clergy meeting February 6th at Helen Miller Center, as well as our continuation of the Feeding South Florida distribution February 21st. And of course, I want to also thank, and we're excited about the fact that Farm Share did increase our allocation from 300 to 400 because, as many of you know, we were running out of food by 10:30, 11. So they graciously, because they see our numbers going up, to grant us an additional amount. So now we're up to 400. And Madam Manager, so I don't have to keep sending email. Of course, staff is always welcome and invited on their break or however you deem to do it, to come by and pick up items as well. If you want to suggest a designated time, let me know so we can make sure we can accommodate it. But it's free, of course, and open to everyone. That completes my report for tonight. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much.
Commissioner Santiago, you say you have something else?
Yes, I tried to let her know, Vice Mayor Kelly. In the last commissioner meeting, you asking if somebody wanna donate or anything for the South Feeding Florida. I have a company that they want to donate any fruits or vegetable that we need.
Okay, I just let the clerk know. I mean, I have to see what it is because I don't know what the parameters of Feeding South Florida when you have another entity that wants to bring something in. So let me find out. If they can't do it at that venue, then there are other venues or things we have that they'll be able to donate or support. So we don't want to say no, but I have to see what the requirements are in our agreement with Feeding South Florida. So we'll work on it. But if they want to help our community, we'll figure out a way to make it happen.
Okay.
All right, Commissioner Irvin, you no report?
Yes. No, I mean, I don't have much, but I enjoyed the MLK walk this weekend. I also want to thank the interim city manager for doing what she needed to do to get us into the MLK parade. Although it was cold and a little wet, we had a nice time. And that's it. I won't talk about how I attended the MLK walk, but yet instead was not featured in the video that was posted. I won't mention that this time. I saved that one for another day.
Can I piggyback? I wasn't gonna mention it, but I had already sent to the manager. I didn't care for how our exposure for the MLK walk did not reach venues and was exclusive as it should have been. Yeah, I agree with that, and I think she understands my concerns. So I'm glad you brought it up so we can do it better, not only with the walk or lack of exposure in the video, but even the outreach to the news outlets and other things, because by the time our stuff is posting, it's old. It's 3 or 4 days old. The walk was on Saturday. The only other thing really going on MLK was the scholarship breakfast. So we should have gotten some kind of coverage or boost or whatever prior to that. And so I did make that concern known, Commissioner Irvin, because we need to do a better job with our PR folks. I had to look to find a picture with all of us in it so I could post on my page because we didn't have a lot of, coverage, in my opinion. But I'm quite sure the manager will work with our firm to enhance that better. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem.
Right.
Go
I just want to do a save the date because it's a Lover's Day. Our bingo is going to fall on February 14th. This, don't want to hear it.
Because you know
Don't
I'm
wanna hear it.
But I support you from afar.
It's falling on February 14th. So save the date.
You trying to get us divorced, like you know none of us.
We accept couples. Maybe that's what we need, the couples bingo. Couples bingo. Yeah. Come out. We're gonna
Well,
feed you. We're gonna feed you because we know it's
Madam
Lover's Day.
Commissioner, I'm telling you now,
We gonna feed y'all. We gonna
Sorry.
if my wife toe heels, she is not gonna be sitting at bingo. I can tell
Exactly.
you.
We won't be sitting there. I'm probably commissioner. I love you though, but we'll be able to make that one. All right.
save the date. Those of you that can make it.
Save the date for couples bingo. So we'll make this couples bingo.
No singles allowed?
This report short. So I do want to say, we had the MLK walk. It was awesome. It was actually really good. I'm sorry I had to miss it. The latter part of it because I had to go to another funeral that we had in the city of Opa-locka. But I also want to say that Commissioner Bass drew the short straw and she represented the city very well at the 5,000 Role Models of Excellence with Hakeem Jeffrey. So thank you for, being our representation for the city of Opa-locka. Also, Madam Manager, the only other thing I want to say, we went to the MLK parade. However, I will say this. I want the city to update the seals because we have like 3 different seals going around the city. We got the new one, we got the old one, and then we got the one that was before that one. So I just want to make sure that we are in sync and cohesive so that we make, because what we had at the parade, they were holding a flag from the old seal and not the new one. So I just want to make sure that the city represents itself in the best positive light. Also, under my report, I brought up special events calendar because I just want to ensure that because we have a lot of events coming up, but we never pinpointed who the sponsor was going to be for these events. So we want to make sure that our events coordinator understands who she needs to speak to as it relates to the events. These are the proposed calendar events, well, the ones that we voted on already. Those dates, I don't know where they came from, so please don't focus on the dates, but the celebrations. We can either take time now to go through this now, which will take no more than 2 minutes. Everybody could say what they want to sponsor, and we can submit that document to the manager's office, and we can go from there. And I know, and I'll take the lead. I know Commissioner Kelly has the MLK Walk. The Black History Celebration is usually done by Parks. I'm asking for the Women's History Month celebration, which is in March, if you all don't mind. The Bunny Jam, it was also mine. National Day of Prayer, I know it's Commissioner Kelly. We have Earth Day here. Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Bass. The 99th birthday celebration, I want to take that.
That, I would like to have a piece of that as well.
Yes, ma'am. So
Which one?
then the birthday celebration. So
I think
Taylor
all of
and
us.
Irvin. So you know what? I'm gonna take that off. It's gonna be the commission as a whole.
Did you miss?
But I still think somebody, as you said, somebody got to take the lead, but
Well,
yeah.
the Taylor will take the lead on that. But
They ain't got to meet with me. I'm just,
yes, I got you. Earth Day.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Earth.
You want it Earth Day, Commissioner Bass? Or we're not gonna get
Mr. Mayor, on the National Day of Prayer, that's Vice Mayor Kelly and Commissioner Bass. I'm pretty sure she's still,
Yeah, I have here. Commissioner
okay.
Kelly and Bass. And Earth Day, tentatively, if you want it?
Yes.
Okay. So Bass says she wants Earth Day. The Memorial Day pool party, we already know that belongs to Miss
I want to co-host, if I can, you can take the lead on women's history.
Commissioner Kelly, Women's History Month, will co-host with Taylor. All right, the Juneteenth celebration. No, I'm going down the list. The
I
June
like that one.
will be also Commissioner Irvin. Commissioner Santiago, you asked for Independence Day.
Yes, sir.
Is everybody okay with that? Because I know the sponsor was Commissioner Irvin.
I would like to co-sponsor.
Co-sponsor
with
that?
them. Yeah.
And I do want to co-sponsor that with you all as well.
Yeah, me too, all of us.
So we'll put it down
Okay,
as
commission.
that would. Okay, so I agree with that. So that would be a commission event, but the lead will be Commissioner Santiago, so it'll be sponsored by the entire commission.
Yeah, Irvin and Santiago, is that who's doing that one?
No, the commission, because
No, I know, but those two would be like the lead on it. For July 4th?
Irvin and Santiago.
Because like
please
you're
do that.
doing women's history, I'm co-hosting, but you're like the lead on it.
That's fine, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, so the book bag giveaway, I know it's the commission.
I'll take the lead if y'all don't mind.
And Irvin,
Which one? Book bag?
the book bag. I want to co-sponsor that with you, Commissioner Irvin, if you don't mind. We did it together
Yeah.
before. The community baby shower, I know that's Commissioner Bass.
Wait, go too fast. Commissioner Bass, can I co-sponsor that baby shower with you?
Of course.
Thank you.
I want book bag. Y'all don't
Yeah,
want, we
okay.
can't do baby shower?
Commissioner Kelly, you say you want to do the
Yeah,
book bag giveaway?
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
And because co-sponsoring the baby shower.
the baby shower.
Yes.
Okay.
I love babies.
All right, we almost done. So the breast cancer event, I want the breast cancer event if you all don't mind.
Can I co-sponsor?
Yes, ma'am. Opa-locka
Me,
is my.
not with you.
Oh,
Well, yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, we can do a big Spanish event in that day. Yeah, for sure.
That
Yeah.
one, that one.
Yes.
Okay, so Halloween Reload is the commission with with Commissioner Irvin in the driver's seat.
Okay.
Veterans Day is Commissioner Bass. We already know the turkey giveaway. I did that with Commissioner
Yeah, I
and
like
But,
that.
but I
like to
want to
do
be
that
a
too.
co-sponsor for that.
With turkey
For
giveaway.
the turkey give it away.
okay, so it'll be Commission Taylor, Kelly, and Santiago. It'll be the
Yeah.
commission.
The
The
commission.
tree lighting ceremony I did, which is commission led as well. And the toy drive we know is commission led, but with
Yeah,
Commissioner
her.
Irvin
Mhm.
as the in the driver's seat. So let me go over it really quick and then we'll move on because I know we want to go home. I have the MLK as Commissioner Kelly. The Black History Month is Parks. The Women's History Month would be Taylor and Kelly. And Commissioner Santiago, I'm gonna throw you in on the Women's History Month anyway,
Okay.
if you don't mind. So it'll be
Not a
sponsored by the
problem.
men
Yes.
of the commission.
Mr. Mayor.
Ma'am,
Our, Black History, I work with them with that.
okay,
I
so
usually do.
Parks and Irvin. That's fine.
Thank you.
No problem. So Bunny Jam is Taylor, Earth Day is Bass, National Day of Prayer is Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Bass. The birthday celebration is the commission with Taylor at the head. The Memorial Day is Commissioner Irvin at the head. Juneteenth is Commissioner Irvin at the head. Independence Day is the commission with Santiago and Irvin at the head. The book bag giveaway will be the commission with Taylor, Irvin, and Kelly at the head. The baby shower is Bass, Irvin, and Santiago. Breast cancer would be Taylor and Bass. Conga Loco would be Taylor and Santiago. Halloween would be the commission with Irvin at the head. Veterans Day would be Commissioner Bass. The turkey giveaway would be the commission with Commissioner with Taylor and everyone. We'll discuss it at the time when it comes up. We'll make sure be inclusive with that one.
And can we go back to the city, 99th birthday?
Yes, ma'am.
I help with the other two, so I would like to join you on that one.
That's fine. So Irvin. Okay, and then the tree lighting ceremony is the commission and the toy giveaway is the commission with Irvin as the head. All right?
Tree lighting was yours, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. Tree lighting. is
And the
Irvin.
birthday celebration, yeah, I want to be, 'cause I think that's probably going to be more of a weekend, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd like to be part of that one.
Okay.
Let me make sure I got all of them.
We're missing one. Who had National Day?
National Day of Prayer is you.
Vice Mayor Kelly Bass, he didn't say anything, but he could be a part if he wants to.
The night of Thanksgiving. I'm sorry. So night of Thanksgiving. I'll provide you with the list. I wrote it down. So the night of Thanksgiving, but that's your personal. That wasn't. Was that budget?
part
That was
of
in the
this.
budget.
Mhm.
Okay, so we'll add night of Thanksgiving here. All right. So anything else that you all do outside of these parameters, please meet with the manager so that we make sure we're on the same night of Thanksgiving. Is that still gonna be inclusive of the turkey? You still doing it at the same time? 'Cause I think every year was always on the same week. And that was the same day, I believe.
Right, but it based on when they get back to us with the funding or.
Got it. Okay. All right. So go ahead.
No, I want to you added me like a co-sponsor for the National Day of Prayer.
National Day of Prayer,
Please.
co-sponsor, Santiago. Perfect. All right. So, Madam Manager, I give you my notes. I kind of scribbled on it, but I give you I give it to the clerk so she can type it up and then provide it to your office. All right. So, anything else?
If I could, I want to call with Commissioner Irvin on Juneteenth. I think we need to do that a little. Just let's see that nobody else.
All right.
Vice Mayor Kelly for Juneteenth.
I put you down. Yes, sir. All
Okay.
right. So, I heard the manager, you said that you and the clerk are not ready right now to present the report for the boards.
At the next meeting,
So
we'll
the
be
next,
ready.
so we'll
Yes.
move on if you all, because it's not urgent. None of these boards are urgent, right? We're not holding up process. All right, so we can move on from the board appointments. All right, I just want to say that we want to.
Mr. Mayor, while
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
can we, acknowledge our kids, our, Police Explorer kids that did a nice job at the parade?
Oh, they killed it. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they
worked
did a
really
nice
good.
job.
Yeah, they pretty much walked the whole thing with them flags, and they look nice too.
Yes, they,
Manager and
very nice.
I don't see Chief Otley. I do see Assistant Chief Starks. They look nice.
Very
So,
nice.
good job on the Explorers. I'm happy to have them. And if that is all, I would like to say I want us to keep Mayor Riley in our prayers. Keep Mayor Riley in your prayer. Let's call him. Let's harass him. Call his phone. Let him know that we're praying for him and we're with him. And if that is all, can we have a motion to adjourn?
One moment.
To adjourn.
Alright.
Just, I want to
Okay.
congratulate Commissioner Irvin for becoming a grandmother on tonight as we were sitting here.
Really?
For the second or
Oh.
third time.
Congratulations. All right. So, congratulations, grandmama. All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Santiago.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Irvin. This meeting is adjourned. And for the